Climate finance was once a pledge, a promise for someday, a number that appeared in declarations, communiques, and headlines. But that era is ending. In the implementation era, finance is no longer a concept. It is a system. It is deployed, tracked, verified, and followed. And where it moves, or where it doesn't, will determine who adapts, who stabilizes, and who is left behind. This episode is not about speeches or targets. It is about architecture, the structure of money in a world that now demands proof instead of promise. At COP30, the tone changed. For more than a decade, the climate finance debate centered on how much funding might eventually arrive. Now the question has shifted to something far more operational. How fast can money move? Through which mechanisms? Under what conditions? And proven by what evidence? Finance is no longer hypothetical. It is becoming conditional, accountable, measured. The centerpiece of this shift is the NCQG, the new collective quantified goal, expected to scale beyond 1.3 trillion US dollars per year by 2035. For the first time in the history of climate negotiations, finance is being designed in parallel with transparency and verification systems. The instructions are clear. Money follows evidence. So where does it go now? Mitigation still commands the largest share. Decarbonization, renewables, grid transition, hydrogen, industry transformation. The familiar pillars remain dominant. But adaptation finance is rising, slowly then suddenly, driven by climate vulnerability, food risk, water scarcity, coastal exposure, and loss of ecosystems critical to human stability. Adaptation finance priorities are emerging with sharp clarity: water security, food systems, coastal resilience, indigenous stewardship, early warning and monitoring infrastructure, telemetry that confirms outcomes in real time. In the implementation era, adaptation is no longer supplementary. It is strategic, and it is financeable. But there is a rule in this new architecture. Finance does not flow into uncertainty. It only flows where outcomes can be verified. This is the pivot point. Verification is not paperwork. It is access. It is the key that unlocks capital. Proof becomes currency. A project is financeable when it can show what happened, where it happened, who benefited, and what changed, visibly, measurably, verifiably. This is the new climate economy. Verification, trust, finance flow. In that sequence, not the other way around. So who benefits in this financial era? First, countries with measurement systems already built. They are early winners because capital moves fastest where evidence already exists. Second, indigenous communities with sovereign data models. Their stewardship, once anecdotal or invisible to financial mechanisms, becomes valued and investable. Third, providers of adaptation technology, sensors, satellites, freshwater models, digital forestry, methane imaging, soil carbon monitoring. When resilience becomes measurable, it becomes monetizable. And fourth, those who can track finance end to end, not just where money is allocated, but where results appear on the ground, in water, in crops, in coastlines, in communities. Visibility converts finance into impact. The implementation era is not just political, it is financial. Money now follows evidence. Evidence defines value. Value flows to systems that can prove results. EOP 30 did not simply raise ambition. It changed the mechanism. Finance is no longer a pledge, it is a test. And in this new era, the world will reward those who can prove what is real.